So we're here at this point. The NBA
Jeez.
Finals has concluded, and both of us picked that the series would end in 6 games. It did not end in 6 games. Um, Diego, I want you to issue a public apology to the audience on why you thought the Dallas Mavericks would win, how you ever thought that could happen, and why you should be ashamed of yourself as a Mavs fan.
Well, I'll just I will just say I did think the Mavs will win, but I'm not sorry. All right. I'll never say I'm sorry for that. But I did think I felt like we had a lot of momentum, and I was definitely as most people were, kind of doubting the Celtics. The whole Mickey Mouse kind of run to the finals with like kind of the injury look and whatnot. But what are they gonna do? Play a harder team? Make another team somehow to play against? That's not possible. All credit to the Celtics. They played amazingly. I mean, they are clearly like record wise and whatnot the best team in the league. So that was great. And I think just to like the ability to really play five out is really, really, really there. And I think also I thought we could win just momentum wise. Luka Doncic, I thought was the best player in the series. Clearly not, sadly, with some of those performances. Kyrie also kind of fumbled the bag like crazy. That was wild. But yeah, I think I kind of hit all those points. Why I thought they would win. I didn't apologize. I think that's good start for me.
That was a test. I was trying to see whether you're just gonna submit and then offer the apology, or
I'm
you're gonna be
never
like, Josh, what are you talking about here? Like you're out of your mind. So
never gonna
um, that's
apologize.
the right answer. Good job. Good job. Two Dallas fan here.
Is
Um,
there?
and I mean, yeah, it's I thought they had momentum too. I thought they figured some things out, like
Yeah.
offensively. I texted you about it. I think the one thing I saw like game 4 that I thought was really something that the Celtics couldn't stop was, and I saw a video on this too.
Hmm.
They would have like Luca bring the ball up from his normal spots, but everybody else they would just send to the baseline. So
Yeah.
that way, all the help from the Celtics has to come from much deeper in the paint, and it's kind of just like
Hmm.
a one-on-one on your local gym,
Yeah.
pretty much. That way, you can get all your rebounders in place, and then oftentimes David put like Kyrie as the strong side shooter. But
Hmm.
I'm with you on Kyrie, and this is not just
Jeez.
strictly to the
Yeah.
final. It's not like he fumbled the bag in the finals. Like he has had his struggles in the Thunder series
Hmm.
and in the Bulls series at times, and it's just like, really, dude, like you're a consistent superstar. Like this shouldn't be a struggle for you. And I thought he got over it after the OKC game because he chalked that up to that was like the toughest opponent we faced
Hmm.
all postseason long at that point. And I'm just like, Kyrie, they needed you. And he showed up in some points, but I mean,
Yeah.
that action with Luca by himself, and then like changing the launch angle from where they're throwing their lobs, I think
Hmm.
really helped out a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think it was like too little, too late. Like game 3 was a must win for them in this series, and they had a
Hmm.
strong shot to finish it off. But I think at that point, Luca was still like fighting about calls. And I think if he started just accepting the calls from like game 2 onward, I'm not going to say game 1 because that's unrealistic. But
Yeah.
like game 2 onward,
Would have been
I think
different.
they could have pushed this out to 6 or 7 and had given themselves a real shot.
Hmm.
But it's a lesson learned. They're going through their Celtics experience right now of not playing up to their potential. And hopefully we see their potential in the finals and get a finals win because Luca's a great player, but he has like character flaws. Like we've been talking about this with the Celtics for like a long time now too, with like
Yeah.
Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown finally played up to his potential. Um, although I bet on Jason Tatum to win MVP, I really thought he would win it because it was plus odds. I'm like, okay, this is really good. Like, well deserved. I think for those of you who are looking just at the stats, this is the difference. Yes, Tatum had the best stats compared to Brown and compared to like on the whole team.
Hmm.
But what Brown did in the first three
Yeah.
games to take control, like defensively and like timely dunks and
Hmm.
just playing smarter made him a more valuable player in this series in
Yeah.
particular because the Brown of like 2 years ago, he would drive to the paint, but he'd drive recklessly. So he
Hmm.
would open himself up to turnovers against the Warriors, against the Heat. Like there's a reason why the Celtics weren't able to play up their potential, and he was a contributing factor of it. Um, so yeah, and this awful Game 7 too. That contributed to a lot against
Yeah,
the Heat. But props to him. He cleaned that all up. He was a lot more decisive, and I think the additions of Derek White and Drew Holiday really made a difference with this team.
yeah.
Um, Shocker they got Drew Holiday from that offseason. But like
Wild.
I thought they needed a guy like a Marcus Smart, and they got like a better one with Drew
Mm-hmm.
Holiday because the timely plays he made
Yeah.
really rounded up what ended up being the championship winning squad. Like the Celtics needed that, and because they couldn't get out of Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, because the old players,
Mm-hmm.
Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, would be emotionally disengaged from the game
Mm-hmm.
or too emotionally attached to the point where they're not worrying about the team. And I've always said this about the Celtics: when they play as a team, they're the best team in the NBA.
Yeah.
If they played like that against the Warriors, they would have two NBA finals at that point. If they played
Mm-hmm.
like that against the Heat, they wouldn't be down 3-0 and trying to come back and force a game 7. But I'm glad they finally learned from their mistakes and they pulled it out. And great performance there.
Yeah. I'd say big keys are just, in my opinion, Drew Holiday's a Hall of Famer. Lock that in right now. If he's not a Hall of Famer, that's like a travesty because this man, you put him, you trade for him in the past 4 years. 1 year you're winning a chip almost guaranteed, man. Like he's just like we've said multiple times, he knows how to play basketball. And like you said, like a Marcus Smart, but Marcus Smart had so many, I don't want to say character flaws, but Marcus Smart like kind of wanted to be one of the guys on this team. And it's clearly not what he was, right? He's the guy playing defense, being kind of your passing point guard. And like in that game, was it game 6 in Miami last year? Like he chucks up that three to try and win the game, and just luckily Derek White can get there for the offensive rebound and
Oh,
tip
100%.
in. Like
Otherwise, their season's over then.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't care like what the situation is. I don't want Marcus Smart shooting that kind of shot in that situation. So definitely a big upgrade there.
I think he can make threes. Like just one quick
Yeah.
thing. Like Marcus Smart's good 3-point shooter. But the
Hmm.
problem with him is he'll have like the Tim Hardaway chuck up
God.
threes at random moments of the game.
Yeah.
You don't see that from Drew Holiday, and it's by the
Hmm.
margins on how they're shooting their threes. Like
Yeah.
that's that's a clear difference between the two, and I think you saw it have a positive effect on the Celtics this year.
Yeah. So Drew Holiday Hall of Famer, lock that in. Yeah, Jalen Brown. Like I knew, like once I knew the game was over, I was literally just telling my roommate like, if Jason Tatum wins this Finals MVP, I'm gonna be so pissed because like yeah, stats. He props to him. He played an amazing like series, being not really a scorer but being an assist guy, kind of being the de facto point guard a little bit. And
He led both teams with like the most amount of assists in the game.
like that's awesome because that's something, especially on drives. Like that's something in one of the games, in one of like the Wired segments where they have him like talking. He's talking to the other guy, the Celtics guys, and he's like, "Yo, guys, we have to take the right threes, like no step back threes." And then he kind of pauses for a second. He's like, "I know, I'm like guilty of that too." And like Doris Burke was like, she's like, "I know that his teammates were side eyeing him until he said that he did it as well," because that's kind of what he's not. I don't want to say what he's known for, but he does that sometimes, right? And we've talked about that, like how side steps, step back threes aren't the best. But no, props to Jason Tatum for really coming into this series and not shooting well, but doing affecting the game. But no, he was not Finals MVP. Jalen Brown like having a higher offensive impact while also like clamping Luca, like making Luca really look not good. Obviously injuries and whatnot, but that was, and I think a big thing for Jalen Brown is he really, like everyone was saying stuff about him with that contract, with like all the turnovers, saying he has no
Because the
left
way he
hand.
finished, I said that about him because of the way he
Hmm.
finished against the Heat. It was
Yeah,
like unacceptable for him being like a second star. Like, because really the combination of him and Tatum make it unfair for the league because their
yeah.
talent ceiling, and
Hmm.
he wasn't playing up to his ceiling. So I'll own up to that from that side of things.
No,
Go
like,
ahead.
but that was valid at the time because you're just like Jalen Brown, show me what you got, and he showed us what he had at the time, and that wasn't it. And so he's really stepped it up, really like played up to that contract, and showed that like kind of shut everyone up. And like this is something that Brian Windhorst has been saying a lot, especially after this championship, is like, once you're a champion, like you don't have to say sorry. You don't have to apologize to anyone. And like the Celtics did that now, and that's good for them. Al Horford with the ring, that's good. Even though I was roasting him so hard last week, and then like also during like the trophy like ceremony, I was just like, bro, Svi Mikhailuk has like a NBA champion finals ring. O'Shea Brissett has a final. Like that was kind of pissing me off. But obviously, obviously they're on the team. But like I was like these dudes, like these are like trivia guys. In like 20 years, they're
You
gonna be
better
like,
not say anything about Xavier Tillman because he did
no,
play a valuable role at
no, he
times.
played a valuable role. But I just remember when he was on the Grizzlies earlier this year. They played the Mavs, and he was trying to like I don't know trash talk us. It's like Xavier, you haven't done anything, but at least he's done something now, so I can't really talk. So yeah, I mean, who else? Derek White. Derek White. I swear in this series, did any shot, any three
Hope
point
his
shot,
teeth are okay. Hope he gets that
that was also
fixed.
true. My roommate was like, "Has he always looked that ugly with his teeth?" And I was like, "Bro,
Oh
chill on
my
my dog. Like, I get
dang.
he's not the cutest dude out here, but he's a good basketball player. Let him live." Jeez, but like, oh, like any 3-point shot that Derek White got, I was like, "There's no way, drain, easy three." He shot better from three than his field goal percentage. Like
Diego, come
those
on now.
stats.
This guy hit 7 threes in the Pacers series in one
Yeah.
game. Like he's a good 3-point shooter,
No,
okay?
I know he's a good 3-point shooter, but like some of these shots are like end of the shot clock, like past like there's a hash mark on the sideline, like past
You're gonna say
that.
that about Derek White, but not about Peyton Pritchard. The dude had like three
Yo,
half-court
I don't
threes
even want
in
to
this.
think about Peyton Pritchard right now. Peyton Pritchard, jeez, like that man, like when he hit that shot, I was like, I'm not like I
He
just thought
just
in my
got into
head,
the game
yes,
too, Diego.
like I was literally like I've not seen this man all game. I literally checked the minutes. I sent you the minutes, all the stat on ESPN. There wasn't even a zero for the minutes. It was just a dash because he hadn't played. Like, oh my god, that for me. That for me just had me so mad. And I listened to a podcast today where actually they were saying like Peyton Pritchard was just heaving them, right? But then that was at the end of the half, first half, and end of the first quarter. Dante Exum had the ball and he could have heaved it. Now obviously it was a lot longer, but he had time to heave it. He just dribbled and didn't heave it at all. And so then the guy podcasting, he was watching with his dad. And he said his dad said after seeing that, he's like, no way, the Mavs aren't winning this. And then Peyton Pritchard makes that shot. He's like, yep, for sure, no way, the Mavs are winning this game. But like, I don't know. That's like so on the margins. That's like really nitpicky. But God, Peyton Pritchard's gonna live in my nightmares, man. Like, how does he do that? Like, I can't understand that. That is beyond logic for me. But whatever, man. Uh
And that,
Mavs
my
side of
friends,
things,
is the day in the life of a Mavs fan post finals.
yeah, man. But I will say it wasn't how I wanted it to end. But for me, especially with this podcast, I feel like I've been able to like follow the league, but specifically like the Mavs more than I ever have in my life, and I've really grown to appreciate that. That was one thing I thought about past few days that really like resonated with me. I was like I like I lived this season. Like obviously I'm not on the team or anything, but I lived this stuff with them, man. Oh, but anyway,
That
Mavs
just
side
melted
of
my heart,
things,
man. Shit,
yeah,
thanks. Thanks.
nah, but it's how it's felt, man. So it's been good, but
It feels like part of your life when you're breaking it down to like this
yeah,
level and like because you want to see how the story finishes and how
mm-hmm,
you would write the story as the author. Like I always love seasons like basketball and football because it's like it can go
mm-hmm,
in any different directions. The stories are
yeah,
wild. And that part of it and capturing on like our angle from our experiences, like I went up today here in like 91-degree heat. I was like running actions that I saw from the finals and different spacing concepts
yeah,
because I just love basketball and I've loved doing that. Even though like I could literally just go and chuck up threes if I wanted. Now I was horrible. I only made like 3 out of like 15 today. I was
yeah,
off, but um, that's besides the point. I mean, I love the stuff I learned from just watching the Celtics this season, like crashing the
mm-hmm,
boards from the corners,
yeah.
like taking pride in rebounding, like
Mhm.
passing the ball, getting guys open, setting each other up, like that kind of stuff I love more because I've seen that and covered and talked about this on this podcast and stuff. So
Yeah.
I feel likewise. Like I feel doing this has made us both like
Oh,
better
definitely.
basketball like savants just like looking at the game. and then
Hmm.
like helped us play. So hopefully ankle gets better and
Yeah.
you can go back out there. I know you're itching to go.
No, I don't know. I think I texted you about, but I played. We had like our championship for our league, and then I was like, oh, I'm not gonna play till like July just to give my ankle some rest. So it's like June has been going fast, man. I like it just went like that. So we're almost to July. I'm
100%.
excited to get playing soon. So we'll see. But yeah, it's been a good season. But anyway, Mavs side of things though, got some like we said. Kyrie was Schmid. Luca, he put up points. Still like mentality stuff. We've
He
talked
has
about
room to
that.
grow as a superstar. We're not pecking him down a couple pegs.
Uh,
Like he had an MVP caliber season.
yeah.
I think there's the stuff that he has to grow in is on the margins.
Hmm.
But this is perfect because my question for you is, where can the Mavs improve on the margins with their
Yeah.
roster this offseason?
Yeah. I think biggest thing is get THJ out of it. Like THJ has been good. Tim Hardaway Jr. He's helped the team, but it just hurts sometimes, especially in game end of game 5, end of game 3, especially when kid subs him in instead of Dante Exum. Like I get Tim Hardaway Jr. can hit shots, but he's just gonna shoot shots. And that's not it sometimes. And we're also paying him in the next 2 years like $34 million. Like, please, it's an expiring contract right now. I think he has an option the second year or this year, but or like it was this year and next year, so expiring contract for next year. Um, if we could trade him, that'd be great. Just because I don't see the value he brings on this team anymore, to be honest. But trading him would be nice. Like some development from this team would also be great. I mean, this core has only been together for barely
Half the
5
season.
months. Yeah, like very very wild there. So like Derrick Jones Jr. being able to hit threes, like the fact that him and PJ Washington and like all the other role players were hitting threes throughout the whole playoffs, and then you bring it to the finals and they just can't shoot it. Like that was just a huge difference in this playoffs. And I've seen some like talk of trying to get a third kind of ball handler for when Kyrie and Luke are out or if they are not playing well. But I feel like that's kind of your Dante Exum role. But I don't know. Heard some chatter about PG somehow coming. I was like, what? I guess like that would be
That's
nice,
not
but it's a lot of
happening.
money, and he's a Clipper. Like, why do I want a Clipper right now? I don't want that. And then uh, there's so much talk about like the Mavs getting like drafting Bronny and getting LeBron James. All I'm gonna say is I wrote that in my notes like 3 years ago. Whenever like LeBron said he'd go to.
I think you're muted. See, your audio is not working.
You hear me now?
But yeah, I got
I
you.
was fidgeting with the connection.
You're good. You're talking about Brady?
Yeah, I already said that. I had it in my notes like whenever Bron said that the Mavs would somehow draft Bronny. That's like cool and interesting, but I still see that as a super long shot. Like I'm not expecting that. But big thing, one if I was in that coaching room, if I was one of the coaches, I would be screaming from the rooftops that we're every single practice we're shooting free throws and everyone's making like 100 at least a day. Like
That was annoying.
that
Like
was
they
terrible. We're
missed
the
that
worst
many free
shooting
throws.
team for free throws in the postseason. Like, what is that? Ah,
And Luca too. It was not just like the role players. It was like everybody.
yeah,
I hear you on that.
it's tough. I think Luca especially it's an issue for. I think it's more of a focus thing because so like we've all seen he kind of has a two motion shot where the shot kind of goes over his head, right? And so that makes it easier for you to get more distance on it. But like if you look at a rim and say if you drop a ball straight down, it has a lot of like it has a lot of room for error. But the more
Yeah.
you start angling it, like having it go in a more shallow angle, you get less room for error. And that's what happens when you have a two motion shot is you're kind of flattening out the shot. And so you have to be more accurate, but you need less power. So if Luca isn't as like focused and such, you're tired, then you don't focus as much and you start missing. And that was a problem even in 2021. Last time we played the Clippers, where he was shooting like 60%, 60 something percent in that series from the free throw line.
On the FIFA line.
So this isn't new, but it's just annoying. Like it's definitely something to lock in. And I think what are some other thoughts? Derek Lively shooting threes, that would be wild. I would love that.
Yeah, I saw
Uh,
him attempt one in game five after he made one in game four, and I'm like,
yeah,
ooh, bro, I know you made one, but that's just
it's
ballsy.
steep. It's steep. Yeah, but I mean, we have young guys. Jaden Hardy, you guys have seen him. He played reasonably well. He had some Tim Hardaway Jr. moments that were scary, but overall not too
I,
bad.
I would keep all their point guards that they have.
No,
Like, I
yeah.
think they have a grade 4, 5 quintet, and I was
hmm
like, I was nervous when they traded away Seth Curry because I'm like,
Yeah.
where's the 3-point shooting coming from? But like this team proved they can overcome that. I'm looking at two guys, and they're not like the sexiest names that I would add on to the Dallas team, but I think it would bring them more consistency. I would try to do whatever you can to get Desmond Bain or
Ooh.
Bojan Bogdanovic on the
Yeah.
Mavs squad because if you have like a lethal 3-point shooter from anywhere on the line,
hmm
that might be that might be something that unlocks another part of the Mavs offense because you saw in first two games, like the Celtics made a point to stop the corner threes.
hmm
Like you're not getting them. And the Mavs had to adjust with taking threes from the wings and the top, and they weren't as effective. If you have a guy like Bane who could shoot it from the parking lot, or even Trey Murphy. Imagine Trey
Great.
Murphy on this team.
That
That would
that's what I
probably
really like.
I think actually now that I'm thinking about it, Trey Murphy might be the guy I want to target if
Yeah.
I'm the Mavs because he can still give you that defense like Derrick Jones does,
hmm
but he's tall. He can shoot it from the parking lot, and he can create off the dribble himself. He's a very savvy basketball player as well. Um, I think they need a guy like that.
hmm
If they get a guy like that and potentially another guy for the draft that they can develop,
Yeah.
now you got like a 7 to 8 man rotation that can compete in the West consistently because it is a
hmm
juggernaut.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not sure how often they'll get to this stage again,
Yeah.
given how good the young teams in the West are. But if you manage to get one of those three, I think it unlocks a different element of the offense they needed to have against the Celtics, but they'll
hmm
probably need to have against the same caliber teams they're going to face up.
Yeah. I like the suggestions. Like Boyan and Desmond. The only thing I don't like about them is like Desmond Bain kind of I think he's like what 6'5". He has short arms. He's not like he's good as like a shooting guard, maybe small forward, but I think we're looking targeting more small forward, power forward that can defend and shoot threes like 3 and D because that's kind of what like Derrick Jones Jr. He was like he's a good lob threat and whatnot, but the shooting is really what's missing, and he plays great defense. But like Desmond Bay might not be the greatest defender. I know he hustles a lot. Bojan Bogdanovic, bigger but not again a great defender, reasonable defender. But like Trey Murphy, that's and now that's the issue. Everyone wants that. Like you don't just that doesn't just grow on trees, sadly. So that's definitely
You
what I
gotta
what I
hope the
want.
Grizzlies take Tim Hardaway in a first round pick or something like that. So
Yeah. The only helpful thing there, I think Boyan is still on the no, Boyan's on the Knicks. No, he
yeah,
was on the Pistons before. Supposedly the new GM of the Pistons like he was on the Pelicans before and like he likes Tim Hardaway Jr. and he wanted to trade for him earlier, so that could happen, but I don't know. That's just speculation.
I have no
So
idea what's going on with the Pistons. That's just
Monty Williams out. I don't blame Monty at all for that. I blame whatever the Pistons gave him as a team. That was disgusting. So that's something. But
he didn't
uh,
even want to coach there. I think he coached there because they offered him more money, more and more money.
so much money, yeah. And now he gets paid. I think he's getting paid like 100 million total to not coach at all. Because like they
Wow,
bought him out like 60, 70 something K, and then
that's wild.
he got bought out like he still has 20 million next year from the Suns. So
Mhm.
I don't know. That's rough, but Omax, Olivier Maximilian Maxence Prosper, draft one of the other draft picks last year. He could kind of fill in that role, but he's too raw right now. He's kind of just length. I don't think he can shoot that much. So him coming off the bench next year is kind of the move. But aside from that, nothing really else on our end. I think big thing for the Mavs this year. Luca even said in the interview after Game Five, is he's not sure if he's playing. I don't know if he's not sure if he's playing July 2nd with Slovenia, like playing Greece, or if he's playing the Olympics at all. I know he really wants to. Me personally, I don't want him to play just because the chance of you being a U.S. super team, a France also super team, is really steep, and I don't think it's worth it when you could really be contending for another chance to be here if you really lock in the summer.
I think I think the one thing with him is like he plays year round anyway.
Mm,
So I don't think Luca will be as affected as maybe like other guys in the
yeah.
similar position as him. So I'm not too worried about him. I think the one thing I'd be worried about is if he's giving his body enough time to heal
Mm,
before the
yeah.
season starts. If that's not happening, then I'd be slightly worried. Um, but another guy that came up as I did a little more digging, I'm like, Trey Murphy, Keegan Murray.
Yeah.
Keegan Murray, like if you're able to get him, um,
It's gonna be tough, but it would be
like
nice.
yeah, maybe like because you can get him or Malik Monk, that'd be nice.
Monk would be reasonable.
Maybe a Harrison Barnes if you're looking budget wise.
Yeah.
Um, could be the guy you're looking for, but um, yeah, I maybe try one of the Timberwolves guys.
Yeah.
Like hope
I
you
know
can
Kyle
get Alexander
Anderson.
Walker.
Oh, yeah. He would be
Yeah,
nice.
I don't know about Anderson, dude.
He's just so
It,
old. I feel like it's a problem with a lot of these guys is that they're old.
and his like 3-point shot is not like a catch and shoot friendly motion.
No, it's not.
It's like it takes time. Like you have to sag off it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes him like 3 seconds to get that ball at
It's kind of
point guard.
gross in
Yeah.
my opinion. But yeah, no. He's a high IQ player. If he could only like have a
Yeah.
regular jump shot, he would be making a lot more in this league. But
Oh, 100%.
he's got his role. He's kind of locked into it. It's whatever. But yeah, I think draft. I think right now we only have a second round draft pick, which is kind of rough. But you hit on Derek Lively. I'm not mad. Just
Yeah.
Nico Harrison needs to cook up. I'm excited for the draft next week. Been listening to a lot about that. But yeah, I think it's kind of all I have for the Mavs. Yeah,
For Celtics, I literally
there's
I
nothing to
literally have
do.
nothing.
Yeah, they.
Obviously they won a championship, so why fix any? But like I think from the way they built their roster, it's perfect.
Hmm.
They just need to build out the depth. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because they and credit to them, they hedged on having a top heavy roster in their
Hmm.
front 5 and 6. That was the one worry I had with this team. And they all managed to stay relatively healthy throughout this postseason run.
Yep.
And that but like if one of those guys goes down, very quickly you see that there's a widening gap. But yeah, continue development of Hauser and Pritchard.
Hmm.
Um, get another guy that can round out the rotation. Maybe Bruce Brown. Like if you're able to get him, well,
Yeah.
even the Mavs included, if you're able to get Bruce Brown,
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
he's
that's
the
what my
type of
friend was
player
saying.
you want to have on the championship roster. So like
Yeah.
Mavs, Celtics, if you're able to try and get him, he's another high IQ player who plays like he's basically a budget Drew Holiday, like
Hmm.
except without the ball handling and whatnot of a
Yeah.
point guard. But like he's a guy that I loved watching on the Nuggets play. If you're able to get that level of play from him, that's a championship level player. Like
Hmm.
try and get those guys matter in the league. And if you're able to have like 6 or 7 really good guys that can play like that, and like with 2 of them being like really good superstars, you're in a good situation. So
Yeah, I'd say a big thing as well. I remember him playing on the Nets when KD was on the team, and they played Bruce Brown at like he wasn't the actual center height wise, but he was the positional center because like he could shoot, he could pass. He was playing sort of that Draymond role, and I think that was really great. And that's how the Nuggets kind of caught on to him. We're like, oh, this guy is interesting. Like, why don't we pick him up? And so they did. And they won a championship. So very interesting. And him losing him changes their team. I mean, we can't we can't say hypothetically that the Nuggets would have won beat the Timberwolves and then
they were
beat
up
the
by
Mavericks.
20. They should have closed them out, and
Mhm.
they didn't. It would have
Yeah,
been a great finals to see the Celtics and Nuggets. I thought that it
yeah.
was headed that way.
That I feel like that would have been better, like basketball wise, and especially I would have been more happy if the Nuggets won. I will say if the
Yeah,
Nuggets repeated, but I'm also not mad that this is our sixth straight different champion since all that Warriors Cavs fiasco. No, it's not a
yeah. No, I'm
fiasco.
I'm super happy about that because
Hmm.
for me, I'm like it's not hating on the Warriors or the Cavs, but I'm like
No, but it's like you get tired of it, right?
Yeah, you want to see like new superstars like win every
Mhm.
time, and this is coming from Bulls fans, so
Yeah,
I'll probably be hypocritical like looking at the Jordan runs, but like
it's
I mean
true.
it's cool. It's cool. I like
Mm.
at this stage, I guess, of being a basketball fan. I love the team building aspects of this.
Yeah.
It goes for football as well, and like how teams decide to build, like how
Mhm.
coaches um, strategize around using their rosters. But that stuff interests me. So to see the Celtics finally get it right um, was good. Do you have anything else to cover on the NFL finals and
Uh,
NBA finals?
yeah.
Oh my
I
goodness.
guess going with team building, we've all heard this kind of a lot. Talked about how like in 2021, it was 21 in the first round. These Celtics get beaten 5 games by the like big three Brooklyn Nets that look like world beaters, and you think, oh, it's over. Like these Celtics are kind of done. Like Kemba Walker not being Kemba at all, Gordon Hayward like not doing much. So how they were to flip, like they were like barely 500 in that first half of the 2022 season, and then they get Derek White and it all changes. They go to the finals. Also to note, Mavs had a similar run that year. Just letting you know. But yeah, that's very interesting. And I think, like we said, stories. And I really enjoy. That's one thing I really enjoy about basketball, like any sport, but like more basketball, is that these are kind of like, yeah, the game is the game, right? And I love the game, but you could also there's also all these like storylines, and you see how these guys develop years over years over years. Like, there's a whole joke that Jason Tatum is still 19 when it was like he was 5 years in, and it felt like that because we'd see him all the time, and he felt young, but he's grown clearly, and so is Jalen Brown. And that's something I really appreciate about this is that if you watch for long enough, you get to see that growth, you get to understand that growth, and that's what we've seen with this Celtics team and all the other Celtics teams in the past. They had to fight for this and yeah, go through some struggles, but they made it through. So it's it's cliche, but sports kind of uh like the art. What is it? It's like art imitates life or something. Like sports in a way do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy that.
No, and it's says it many times. Like stories, just sports are just a metaphor of life.
Hmm.
Gonna have adversities, how you overcome them. And like, yeah, I still feel like Tatum and Brown are like only been in the league for 3 or 4 years in my head because
Yeah.
I what like 27 and 28, but like I still remember when they went up against Braun as like young rookies, the
2018.
people that just like went up and like they took him to game 7 and like
Yeah.
the Celtics could have won that. It was like dogfight. I remember that like like it was yesterday. And then seeing how they consistently got to the NBA Conference Finals. The big question was, could they get it? And they
Yeah.
finally did. So hopefully, if Luca and Kyrie stay long enough, they can finally get another chip. I think I saw a different version of Kyrie, and I'm not
Hmm.
sure if it's like a
Mm.
persona or like just a genuine change, but like it looked like the Kyrie people have been wanting to see when he had his own team finally.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I would love to see him win a ring. He's one of the most unstoppable guards in this league. Like
Hmm.
I don't know how you make a top three of point guards, but
Yeah.
like I feel like he's
It's
gonna
tough.
be on people's lists at some point. Like
Hmm.
there's just too many good point guards right now, so it's like hard to quantify that it's like top three. But yeah, as long as the Mavs keep building this thing, I think they're live to make the finals any year.
Yep. The two last things was Kyrie. Kyrie played terribly, yes, but I think also just the way these Boston fans were getting into him. It was different, man. Like I don't know if a player's been heckled that hard and just like hated on by a whole like community of people that hard. Now obviously it
And
doesn't
it's been
condone like
years. It's been
yeah.
years since he's been on the Celtics too.
Hmm. So that was pretty huge. And then I was gonna say something else about Kyrie. I think Kyrie I think like yeah, everyone's like this is also his like second big finals where and he doesn't really show up. That kind of somebody was saying it kind of like beats that narrative of him being like a clutch guy. But I just think take that into account. Like last time he was playing in the finals, last times he wasn't getting heckled like that. And I think that's a big thing. And it's kind of like repercussions of what he was before causing this like mayhem and issues. Not maybe not like intentionally and whatnot. But he's definitely turning it around. And I think like I remember when we traded for him, I was just like we got Kyrie, but like what does that like imply?
At what cost? Yeah.
Yeah, that was really what I thought. Like my one of my other roommates, he's a Nets fan. He's like, oh, good luck. Like you're gonna get screwed by He literally anytime we watch him, he's just like, I'm praying for Kyrie's downfall. But I hope the Mavs do well. And it's like I can understand it, but like Jeez,
Come on, man.
it's understand, but that's just what happens when all of that goes on. So again, growth from Kyrie on his end looks like this is infinitely better than I expected. So yeah. Oh,
Um,
last thing for the Mavs. It's just
yeah, go ahead.
next year I want offense. Like it feels like, especially in the finals, a lot of the offense is just predicated on you. You can easily get tough
Mismatches.
shots. Yeah, mismatches, but also like the Luca the Luca go-to shot is never a layup. It's never getting an easy shot for himself. It's
It's
always
a
the
step
hardest
back
shot
three, or
possible.
it's like a pull back, like mid
Pull
range, like
back,
floater, jumper, whatever it
yeah,
is. Yeah.
load up, pivot,
Or
fade
the
away turn.
turnaround. Yeah.
Like, and especially the one play that really encapsulated this for me is where he has Peyton Pritchard on him. He is at least 8 inches on Peyton Pritchard, at least 40 pounds on Peyton Pritchard. And instead of getting him in the paint, like pivoting, like hitting him with a little step, get inside layup, he tries to bait him on a foul, doesn't get it, passes out, gets it back, and then does the same thing and doesn't get anything. Like I just want to focus for this offense to be getting easy shots, not just for role players, but also Luca. Like those tough shots are good to have. And devil's advocate, you say, oh, but if they don't take tough shots in games and they don't have it locked in for when they need it, that's valid. But I want the balance to be a bit more to easy shots. Me, I want easy shots. I want great shots. And yeah, percentages for Luca and carry on those shots are good, but they're still tough shots. Like you need to be so locked in for that. So that's just my thought. I don't know. I'm just a guy. I like to say it sometimes. I'm just a silly little dude.
We're just
I'm
talking heads, you know.
like, yeah, like the smallest talking heads, but we are some talking heads.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. That recaps the NBA season. And just like this, next week we're starting it up again.
Love it.
NBA draft. No rest.
Let's go.
We'll have a little bit of analysis on prospects, I think, one week. It's a little bit too quick of a turnaround, but we'll
Yeah.
do our best. And until then, from us to you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. And you can follow us on our Instagram at amon.a.mission. Nice
Yes,
job.
sir.
That's smooth, Diego. And then our YouTube channel is Amon a Mission, 3 words. You needed that win. You needed that win for sure this week.
Needed it.
Um, Alrighty, guys. Take care. Have a good one.
Yep. Peace.